Well, it is streaming, it is live. STODOT 4. I've got an excellent connection, apparently. The new logo's in there. In front of my face. I didn't plan that well. Okay, anybody. There's something in the chat, if you're there. Hi, everybody. So, yeah. So, welcome one and all to STODOT. Something to do on Tuesdays. I've been relatively busy this week. Hence the late start. Hello. Roll call. It's the Mickey Mouse Club. Yeah. Hey, hindsight. So, yeah. Somebody popped round at the last minute and delayed the streaming, but that was probably a good thing because I did possibly cock it all up. Hindsight, if you can share the URL in the Discord, that'd be awesome. Let's see if I can. No, it's not that one. It's that one. Depreciation warning, and my WebSocket fired tablet is now up and running. I can do stuff. I can mute me. So there's no other background noise or a background game planned or anything like that. Huh? Somebody's dropped out. Yeah, I've got to stop watching this. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to pop out the chat. I'm going to close that because you can see the chat if you're watching it back and you can see it live. So I'm going to minimize that. I am not watching the stats. Never watch the stats. Cheers, man. I am watching the Discord. So you can chat in the Discord if you want. So yeah, it's been a week. It's been an interesting week of stuff and news, and yeah, and I made 3 YouTube videos, which yeah, which we can watch if you want. Because this is kind of, you know, if people have got something they want to talk about, then cool. But yeah. So hopefully people haven't been booted out and you're able to watch it live. So hello everybody. Yeah. Just going to hide the number of views. So yeah, welcome to Trash Panda. My studio isn't tidy enough for me to have just my normal camera on, to be honest. So I'm just going to do it with the avatar just for a laugh. But I think I'm going to get rid of this. This is a, you know, I don't like it. But it's been handy. So yeah, so some very short YouTube videos. One of them's a bit time sensitive, which is why I'm putting it out now. But I don't know. It would depend on where you live, but if you can see over the hurdles, then we got some interesting stuff. I done found a thing. I was almost tempted to do a short workshop on starting OBS 29, the new one, on a Linux machine, because it does not like some versions of Linux. But that would be like a 2-minute video. It's just like literally just type this in and it will run. But yeah, so OBS done kind of screwed me over an update on my Linux machine, at least. It might be different if I was to swap out that Linux machine for my current pride and joy, which is a T440p. But yeah. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty motivated. Thanks for turning up, dude. I can't see the numbers of people that are watching. So yeah. Even if it's just me and you. What you been up to, mate? You got no typing thing. Never mind. We'll be back. So yeah, I am paranoid about dead air because I did some training on local radio, and you don't stay silent for more than a second or two if you can help it, which suits my personality just fine. I think being a radio DJ, if somebody would pay me to be a radio DJ, like super late at night, like 2 in the morning till 7, that would be my ideal job. I'd love to be a late night radio DJ. That's the only job I can see me doing. So just pay me a little bit above minimum wage, and I'll come in and I'll do like 5 hours, 6 hours, and just fill in the night, do the news, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, totally. Might need to train me to do the news, or any emergencies or anything like that. You know, people might be listening. That's the nature of radio. You just don't know. But yeah, and I recommend it. I haven't done a thing. I have the woman coming in to see me at the end of this week. The woman. Wow. Or it could be the woman. The most amazing woman in the universe. But yeah. But yeah, we've all done jobs. We've all done work. I chilled out yesterday. And I went shopping. And a couple of things I found while I was shopping are relevant to the videos. But you'll see what I mean. So yeah. I have gone on about this subject, but not all of it. The longest video is is about 8 minutes. She could be the woman. That's what Sherlock Holmes referred to his nemesis as. The woman. And I can never remember her name. It's one of those weird names like Edith that's gone out of style. But yeah. So yeah. So I don't know if there are people watching. I don't even know if Digital Whiskey's watching. So feel free to jump in. Yeah. So yeah, I think my weeks outside of working and being amazed by that. Recorded an episode of Sonic Sunday on Friday that will be out on Sunday on Uncle Doris's Mixcloud. We're thinking about trying to do that live, but I don't. Yeah, we have to have a better looking studio before we can do it live with video, which is what it's all. Yeah, that's you. I'm not watching. It might. Yeah, who knows? It doesn't matter. It's the internet. It is across time and space. So I've put together a thing that might go up on the Culture Mixcloud, which will be an interview with Don Letts, who's a filmmaker in the UK. And he was right there in it when punk were happening and the Clash and stuff like that. So I'd like to do a little bit of a show to do with that. Made 3 YouTube videos in the last 3 or 4 days. So that's cool. Which we're going to premiere tonight. Yeah. They're only short. And, you know, having the studio laid out as it happens and it is, as it is currently, yeah, it's pretty good. So I can just shoot stuff in the studio. I mean, I'll have to do some wandering about type stuff. I'll get bored. But, yeah, it's more like an Ashens video. Not deliberately, but just like, for this, you don't need to see me. So, yeah. But if you like, shall we watch one now? Where we've been live for 10 minutes. If people were going to get notified, they'd know by now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is mute my microphone and any desktop audio, and we'll play the first one. This is just the thing I've been thinking about for a while. Yeah. So I just want to take a minute or two to talk about having, you know, literally the real media, the physical media of films and books, and how undervalued it is right now. So right now you can pick up DVDs and books for an astonishingly low price, mostly because people don't value them at all. It's an undervalued resource, as everybody gets Netflix and, you know, streaming services, or they watch stuff online. They're getting rid of their DVDs, the physical media, by the ton, to the point where Goodwill and charity shops and secondhand stores are getting rid of them for literally like 10p a DVD and 20p for a book, because people literally don't want the physical media for some bizarre minimalist reason. And if anything happens to the point where they can't afford the streaming services, which as they get fewer will get more expensive, or there's some problem with them, or some of them go out of business, you're looking at a time where people are literally going to go out and start buying Blu-rays and stuff like that. So it is worth thinking about. I mean, I've put together over the last couple of months a pretty good library, just picking up loads and loads of 10p DVDs, as you can see on the screen here. This is just me piling up the stuff that I got in the last couple of months. And I've been making sure that I only bought films that either I'd watched before or that I knew were good. There's very few bad movies in there. It's quite easy to do with movies. You can look it up on IMDb. You can have already watched it. You might notice I've got a couple of doubles there. I've just put in 2 copies of The Matrix in the same stack, but that's not a problem. It's a great DVD, and they had different extras on anyway, so I didn't mind buying 2 on different days because they were 10p each. 10 pence is like about 8 cents or 15 cents Australian. And some of these are the 2 disc editions, like the Hunger Games one and the Lord of the Rings one, and things like the Aliens special edition and stuff like that. These are all things worth having on DVD. And although they've got different price tags on them, these are all picked up in one charity shop where they just had stacks and stacks and stacks of DVDs. So yeah, it's worth thinking about. You know, this is an entire DVD library of good movies that I got for less than £10. That's like a McDonald's meal, or 2 pints, or 3 coffees. You know, those are things you can do without and make for yourself way better. That's the 2-disc special edition holographic cover of Mockingjay. Obviously, you know, your taste in movies might differ, but I've pretty much watched all these movies, and I will watch them again. You know, how can you not like Sin City? Sin City 2's in there as well. The 300, you know, just, you know, multi-million-dollar movies, and they're now being sold off for like 10p, and box sets as well if you want to buy entire seasons. People can't bear having a shelf in their house taken up with DVDs. So this is like 100 DVDs I'm piling up here. That's the box set of Buffy. The new Batman movies. I mean, I don't know how much longer they're going to keep releasing stuff on DVD. You know, maybe that will stop. But even if it does, you could just spend like a couple of dollars a month and build a really good library of films. And it's a little bit, these days, it's a little bit like putting a vinyl record on the turntable, putting a DVD on, physically putting in the media. You're saying to yourself, I'm going to sit down and watch this. And now here's like 15 of the books that I bought. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, great self-help book. Roman historical novels, science fiction novels, you know, historical textbooks. I do like Jeffrey Deaver. Warhammer 40k books, all kinds of stuff. And this everything that's taken up the entire view screen here, that cost me a total of 15 quid. So 2 McDonald's movies, 5 coffees, or 3 beers. Make a choice, you know. I'd definitely rather have like a little library of books and a big library of movies for me to watch. And it got me back into reading. And the books were like £5 for £1. It's like 30 cents each. It's ridiculous. Anyway, thanks for watching. Do take care. Give it a thought. Can't believe I did that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, sorry. This is why the chat can be handy. I could have been going on silently for ages. But yeah. At least the audio on the video worked. Yeah. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I am watching the chat. I've got the window slid down so I can't see how many people are in the chat. But I suspect it's just hindsight. But yeah, even if it's just one person, it's something to do on Tuesdays. That's the whole idea of the show. The idea is for people to hang out. I don't understand necessarily, unless something really wacky happens, that somebody would necessarily want to go back. But I think people do. Or just pop in and stuff. Oh, I think I'm actually better off if it's only a couple of people watching it. You know, I don't quite know how Ryan does it on his Twitch channel, but yeah, he's streaming tonight. Unfortunately, otherwise I know he'd be here. Even though I've been very bad at popping into his stream. But yeah. Yeah, we never get to. But yeah, as in some people will. The live stream is recorded. You can literally watch it after the fact. So if you're looking at the normal videos and you click on live, it'll show you all the old episodes, which is something that Twitch doesn't let you do for more than a couple of weeks. And I know YouTube hangs on to them because this is the fourth something to do on Tuesdays, amazingly. But yeah. But some people have watched the other episodes, I'm sure of it. So yeah. And I released to the public my Subnautica adventures in sea moths, which was just an amazing day. But it's Wednesday. Unsuccessful hermit. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very apt name. I do feel like that. Yeah, it's live. It's ultra democratized TV. Apart from the fact that if you swear, I haven't figured out how to switch off swear words from Discord. So you'd have to come up with some pretty oblique swear words to get stuff with that in it. It'll just come up blocked. So you can graffiti. This is like people graffiti while we're running the show. I haven't got anything planned. I've got no games planned or anything. We might not be on for like that long, but yeah. Oh, I would be a hermit. I was just saying earlier, if I could be a DJ from about 2 in the morning till 7, or 2, like midnight till 5, yeah, I'd do that. I'd do that for minimum wage. Yeah. So you can see the chat if you click on view chat when you watch it back. And if you are watching it and you haven't clicked on view chat, which is just to the right of the play window, then yeah, do that now, and then this will make a lot more sense. There is no good reason if this is the first episode you're watching, there's no good reason that I've got a raccoon as my avatar, other than I like the concept of the Trash Panda. So yeah, and this new piece of software called Face Rig is out. So I was playing with that, but I think I'm going to go back to a webcam. It feels weird. It's quite good though. Considering it's just tracking a low-res webcam that's pointed at my face, which means that I've got stuff in front of the screens, which means that if I've got a webcam pointed at my face that has to be face on, then I can't see the game that I'm playing, which is why I've been so unbelievably crap at games. But if you've got a game that you want to see me play, then yeah, it just doesn't work on Linux, and I'm fine. I'm going to be abandoning this as soon as there's a decent backdrop behind me. Then that's it. You'll just see me. Maybe a couple of different angles of me. I've got a an Xbox 360 Live camera. And yeah, that's pretty interesting for a mono overhead shot. It looks pretty cool. Well, actually dressed as a panda. Try not to drop shit off in pop wash area and fuck up my workspace. Be a good trash panda. Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd go down a treat. No, I had to rule them through fear. And yeah, it wasn't particularly effective. When everybody came back after COVID, I'd calmed down a lot because I'd had a nice 16-month break from having to do anything really. And yeah, so I was a bit more chill, and everybody remembered me being angry, and it was just a case of like, look, I don't want to be angry anymore. But clearly, you know, that I was angry most of the time I was working here. That does say something, that I was being hassled. So don't hassle me. It'll be cool. Just don't, you know, I don't ask much of you, and I do so much for you guys. Just without asking, just get it done. But yeah, no, I'm not dressing up as a trash panda for that. Although they do leave crap all over my work area. Yeah. With glowing red eyes and the booming voice of Satan himself. Pick up after your fucking selves. Yeah. But yeah, there's no point. Then people resent, you know, it's just too many people to control. Yeah. We're getting new people in, but, you know, I think they know not to take the piss too hard. So, yeah, that's definitely a thing. So everybody else has been up to nothing all week as well. Yeah, fair enough. I get it. That's fine. Yeah. Not too many people if Gates has his way. Yeah. I think Linux just is. Hopefully at some point the education system will realise that Linux is way more valuable, and technically it's free, even though it wouldn't hurt if universities put some money towards funding making it better. That'd be pretty cool. And charging because you need to understand that you too, if you're studying computer science and you're being taught Linux, you too will come up with a good idea, and it'd be handy if people paid you something for it. So yeah, you're all going to make a $2 donation to the, I don't know, whichever GUI or distribution that they go with. It's like, because this is how the internet works. This is what the internet uses. Windows interprets onto the internet and interprets the Linux from the internet, but it is all Linux. So trying to pretend that you need to have Microsoft Office or Adobe Photoshop and shit like that is just wasteful, when tools just as good exist for free. And it's like, look, you know, we've got a good deal with Adobe. If you want to learn Adobe, fine. You know, we've got a series of pre-prepared video lectures to teach you about how to use all the Adobe products. That's fine. You can just download all that shit if you want to pay for Adobe. Yeah, LibreOffice. How often do you type a letter? How often do you compose something that you're going to write, as in a diary or whatever? Not very often. So you don't need to spend, 80 quid on Microsoft Office Home with all sorts of limitations on it that are just going to get on your nerves. LibreOffice won't restrict you. It's a bit like Calibre, where you transfer all text files into whatever sort of file you want. So if you've got a Kindle, like an old school Kindle, you can just transfer them across as Mobis. So, no, it will never be harder than it is right now to get hold of stuff or copy stuff or watch things. It's essentially what the next video is. You'll like the next video. It's not much information. It's only very, very short. Yeah, mostly. That's all we had. But, sometimes you want to change the font or do a thing. Fair enough. But you don't want to do that much. But yeah, otherwise people just email and text each other. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe we should bring letter writing back. How much is a PO box? Let's go full on fucking pump up the volume on it. You know, we can do what we like. We can go as crazy as you like, really, with what stuff that we're going to do. But yeah, anything, you know, if you want to make it badly enough, there's free software. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a lot better than, you know, it was, with only a very limited choice of fonts and using electric typewriters and shit. That was a pain in the arse. Telling you that. That was a faff. But yeah, and then the internet came along and changed all that, and the Free Software Foundation and GNU, and yeah, all that lot. Richard Stallman, Linus Torvalds. You know, as far as I'm concerned, Richard Stallman's got every right to be grumpy. Yeah. And it's cheap. That's the whole point of this channel. It is cheap as dirt. You are seeing the movements captured by like a $10 webcam on a $5 scissor arm with scissor arms for microphones. I'm talking to you using a $10 headset, looking at one free monitor, I think, and one $20 monitor, powered by a $50 PC. Well, about that of the money, that's about what I put into it. But a PC that was generously donated by Kevin is a Geek. That's the one we're recorded on. You know, the main microphones for Sonic Sunday are these lovely, what's the brand again? Samson mics. Samson's a nice mic company. That was donated by Rembimon. Yeah. People have been pretty cool. Yeah, and I'm using a control surface that's essentially a $20 tablet. Fuck it. On a $5 keyboard. This keyboard, well, $6. This keyboard was £6 with a $3 mouse. So yeah, it's all happening for fuck all. TV. I mean, it could be better TV, but let's have audience-shaped television. You know? Oh no, Samson, Samson mics. They're C01s. I've also got what is a very, very good mic. I've also got a Samsung Go mic. Their little teeny tiny one for laptops. That's really nice. That's surprisingly nice. If you can get one cheap, you can get one about $20. That's a great mic. That's you can stream with that mic, no problem. I did. It's just easier to do it with the headset, and I get the proper feedback. I don't hear me, but I hear any media that I play. So yeah. Oh, I don't know if people are going to be interested in. So whoever's in can give their feedback. There is the most amazing, bizarre, it's the ultimate masculinity YouTube video about buying cheap second-hand fighter jets. It's the weirdest thing. So yeah. So maybe I could pull that up and we could watch that. I don't know whether you can play someone else's video on YouTube, but I don't know. Does it get an extra view? I don't know. I don't know whether that's even ethical, really. But I think he made the video so people could watch it. This would be more people watching it. And like, I think he's got a series of videos that are like that, but it was amazing. it's just like beyond the realms of human possibility that you might, yeah? No, somebody talking about second-hand fighter jets that were currently for sale. Like literally, you could buy these. If you're an American, you can buy them. You know, you've got some paperwork to fill out because you own a fighter jet. And there are some very big drawbacks to some of the fighter jets you might consider flying around. But that's all I want to spoil about. That's the only thing I want to tell you about it. You know, if you go off and find it yourself, then cool. There can't be too many videos like that, but it is an astonishing video. Yeah. No, they're the real fucking thing. You know, actually buying a Jetfire. Oh, I know. It's the most impractical thing. I mean, wanting a particular sports car is more practical than wanting a jet fighter. You know, short of owning your own spacecraft, there's nothing more pointless or expensive because it's not how much you get it for; it's whether you can maintain it. Just, just the maintenance of those things is just going to be insane. Like, no. I mean, you know, if you were a multi-millionaire, like you were fabulously rich all of a sudden, and you were going to spend a bit of money on yourself, I don't know. I still don't know. And you can go to more places in a camper van. Riverboats are limited by that river. So yeah, camper van. Go and see the country, and where you are, it's a hell of a country. A riverboat. Does everybody has to dress up like it's the 1800s? You've got to like wear cowboy hats and shit, or be riverboat gamblers and stuff. There's no way I'm being a riverboat gambler. I'll steer the thing. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole series of videos done by this Japanese guy who just goes on ferries around Japan, overnight ferries in Japan to test out the rooms. Oh dear. If you got an like, if you built one, it'd probably be cheap to build one these days, just to have one built. If you had the kind of money where you could build like the old timey riverboat with all the modern conveniences like depth sounders and like good tracking and satellite navigation and all that sort of shit on the bridge. And then around that, because it would be much safer, nobody would be able to get to any of the important stuff. You basically have the gayest party boat of all time. It would be a hoot. Take it down to New Orleans. Fuck it. Go nuts. During Mardi Gras, just have random, like 100 or so random strangers on a massive party boat going through New Orleans. Fuck yes. Yeah. Nobody tell Iron Angel. Do not tell Iron Angel that idea because it will fucking happen. He's dangerous like that. Oh dear. Oh dear. What you've got to remember is when that came out, yeah, why not? But everybody has to wear a furry animal head. You're naked apart from the animal head. That'd be funny. When Karma Chameleon came out and that video played, people in this country just lost their fucking minds. Yeah. And when Do You Really Want to Hurt Me came out, it was in the newspapers the next day. Boy George had always wanted to be famous. He was famous as fuck in a day. Like they were only on because another band couldn't play. They performed on Top of the Pops and the world just lost its mind. Yeah. He was so famous, he's on an episode of the A-Team. But that was the famousest person. Yeah. People genuinely didn't know Boy George's gender. Yeah. And it was the early 80s. It was about 1982 or 3. Yeah, good, excellent DJ. But I mean, he's one of those people who's, I don't know, almost caricaturically waspish. I'd like to meet him just socially and see what he was like before making an opinion about the person themselves. Because I think a lot of it is, you know, yeah. Oh, the 80s was a terrible time for music. But it wasn't without its utter shocks. Gary Newman, he freaked people out a bit. Right, I'm going to have to take a couple of minutes because I've got to go and get some rolling papers and my tobacco. I won't be long. You're back in a tick. Oh, what I can do is I can play you another video. You don't have to be bored or sit there or watch a back in a minute. Don't have to do that at all. So I can do this. And right, so this is just a very, it's not even a tutorial, it's just in case I use any jargon, I do something you don't understand, I'm doing a video. Okay, so I found a new free streaming site called Tubi. Downsides are it's only available in America and there are adverts. So they're not too intrusive, they're about every half an hour, 45 minutes. But this is the reason that Tubi is not available outside the United States or the Americas. So, you know, I live in the UK, how would I get Tubi? As you can see, there's already a shortcut here. So what you need to do in order to go to Tubi is you need Opera, basically. That's the easiest way to do it. Opera is available on Windows. I think it's available on Mac OS and it's available on Linux, and I'm using it on Linux now. So the thing about Opera is it comes with a free VPN or virtual private network. And right up here is where you control the VPN. Now, if you click on it, you may need to switch it on in your preferences, which it'll actually give you a link to, but I've already enabled it in the preferences. So you see where the mouse pointer is? That's the VPN control center. So you left click on that and it will give you the details and where. So normally it gives you an optimal location, which is, you know, this is a different, gives you a different, IP address. But if you select Americas, and then you close it down, and then you refresh, and then you type in Tubi, Tubi, and let's go to Tubi TV. Oh, actually, here, Tubi TV Movies Online. And you go to browse. It's got all sorts of cool stuff, including but not limited to a lot of very good cult movies, all of Babylon 5, all of The Prisoner, stuff like that. Older films and newer films, some very new films. So if you go to browse, new releases. So it's not going to give you all the latest movies, but it will give you some very good movies. Well, you know, I'm still going through. This is all the very new stuff. But, you know, have a look around. I just watched Rambo Last Blood. And Mandy's a new Nick Cage movie based on The Colour Out of Space. But you can actually look at, you know, cult classics. It will bring up a whole bunch of cult movies. Freeway, definitely. Iron Sky. No, what, Suspiria, definitely. I don't know about all the rest of these. Boondock Saints, Return of the Living Dead, Heathers, Das Boot, things like that. It will give you all of this. So yeah, so once you set your VPN to tell it you're in the Americas, you can then go on to Tubi, and if you want something to watch, and you know, you can watch anything you want on the internet, but if you want something to watch and you don't know what it is, there's quite a lot of very good stuff. I mean, in amongst stuff that you wouldn't ever watch, obviously. But I guess the Trailer Park Movie, some old Elvira movies, American, you know, just if you just want like an 80s action movie, this is your site. But it does have some newer stuff. They do pay for it for advertising. You can't skip the ads, for instance, but it gives you a free movie repository. I think it's well worth checking out. And if you don't live in the US and just go through the little finagling into opera, if you do live in the US, like a lot of the people I know watch this channel do, check out Tubi. I think it's brilliant. They haven't given me any money for this, and they're probably pretty cross that I have circumvented their America-only embargo. But really, if you just have to switch on a free VPN and set it to America's in order to sidestep that, then, you know, nobody's going to watch this video, but Tubi need better security in that case. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I didn't want to take up too much of your time, but it's well worth checking out. Thanks for watching. Do take care. I did do it again. I did stay muted again, even though hindsight prompted me not to in the chat. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I'll keep on the lookout for sites like that. But there's some seriously good shit. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of like impulse buy DVDs type stuff. Yeah. So yeah. But, you know, it's the doing it wrong that's more interesting than doing it perfectly. Eventually, all these little things will iron themselves out, and I will automatically do it like I do for Sonic Sunday. But I've got Miles here, and Miles will make a noise when we're about to go live. And there's only 2 buttons on that palette. And on this thing, because I've got the avatar, the little cog thing, the little spiky lines, and the text up at the top and the back, there's a lot of elements to each one. And therefore, there's a lot of boxes and things. But I can't... Oh, I can do this. Beep. Yeah, that's probably better. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'll keep on the lookout for things like Tubi. Yeah, the thing is, if this was only my 4th ever stream, that would be... Not putting the mics up would be acceptable. But given that I did 6 months of Twitch to see if I could make it to affiliate, and I basically did. Yeah. So that's better than 90% of other Twitch users just in popularity, and that's thanks to you guys. People like you guys showed up and made it totally doable. So yeah, so this is as many people as I had streaming on Twitch, but if you average it out, all you've got to do is have an average of 3 people, and people popped in and popped out and lurked and all that sort of thing. It was good. But once you get to affiliate, people might feel that they wanted to give you money for subscriptions, especially people you didn't know that always showed up and stuff like that. And I understand if you're doing it as a job, but I'm not really doing it as a job. So I don't want someone's fucking food money or rent money or anything like that. No thanks. You know, there's a Patreon. You can go to it if you want to, but don't. You know, it helps to buy stuff for the studio and shit, or I buy something interesting with it. The astronomical telescope has still as yet not shown up, but when it does, I'm sure we'll wait for a clear night, and I'll see what I can do to get you some pictures. But yeah. It's all in the 50 quid zone, which is, I get about 35 quid a month from various people. No, it's a discussion thing. It's so that we don't feel like the weirdest person in the room. Well, we might be the weirdest person in the room, but, you know, internationally, there are quite a lot of weird people that take things apart and want to tinker with shit and do something that other people look at them weird at work for. Whereas this is where I did a thing, it was this. You know, you get to share it with people. It's sort of like an international fight club. really, in the truest sense of the term. I mean, we're not going to beat the shit out of each other, but, you know, it's somewhere to hang. You know, somewhere to hang for all you. I mean, if you know someone weird and they don't do anything on Tuesday nights, then yeah, send them a link. We'll hang out. I don't. It's not like I mean, if you do know me at work and you do follow my YouTube channel and you've gone, oh right, I wonder what this thing to do on Tuesdays is, then show up. You're welcome, and you know what you're going to get because I'm just like this at work. There is no character. Well, it says the man pretending to be a raccoon, but but you know, I don't think that would necessarily be a horrifically bad thing, as long as you didn't set out to, like, you know, take out someone's eye or some shit. You know, have a think. But yeah, maybe. But then what's the fallout if you think you're at your best while you're being violent? Does that not then transmute into the rest of your life? Unless you were very, very focused. Yeah, you know, we've got the NHS for however long. And yeah, the medical bills looked like they were going to be expensive for the members of Fight Club. They never mentioned that when they're in the ER all the time. So yeah, maybe not that. But maybe that's where sport comes from. You know, it's like a ritualized combat. So how could you ritualize it? You know, maybe it would be someone that would want to go, I want to be certain that I can do this, you know, Wing Chun or Tai Chi or whatever you ended up selecting. So I need somebody where if somebody feels that they're prepared to, like, literally, you know, not kill each other, but go all in. And if you make a killing blow, then, you know, you just don't do it. Yeah. Yeah. So you've got to be careful and shit. I mean, they they didn't do the whole live blade sword mastery in Japan for very long because they ended up killing some noblemen's sons and shit who were training to be samurai. So then they switched to the Buken, and they still ended up killing a bunch of people because it's, you know, it's a piece of wood, but it's a shaped hardened piece of wood. And then they went all the way out to kendo. So yeah, maybe. But then if you felt like you wanted to go, like, all in, you basically make sure it was all matted up and go, okay, you are wearing chest protection, you are wearing head protection, you're wearing mitts, but you can go full on. You know, don't do this bare knuckle unless you absolutely got to, and it's life and death. But yeah. But you also care about the people you train with and stuff like that. So you do build up a camaraderie. If you have to do anything painful or hard, yeah, you can still fuck someone up with a shinai. That's the bamboo sword. I used to have a couple. I got clonked with them pretty hard. They make a terrifying whooshing sound as they approach your head. So yeah, but yes, it's not a biggie, is it? Just hang out and chill. And if anybody's got any videos or they've done something interesting or taken something apart or whatever, you know, and you want to film it, and the last video is actually an idea, really, for that sort of thing. Impact patterns. Are those the self-extending ones? Yeah, I bet they're good. I like the self-extending batten because it's easier well, not that I've done either, but I would imagine it's a lot easier to learn how to use a self-extending straight batten than it is to use a side handle batten. in that you can reverse hold it and all sorts of shit. It's because it's got a tubular handle, you can grip it in a bunch of ways, overhand, underhand, you know. But yeah, it's a fucking amazing thing to get hit with. You can break a bone very easily. And I don't care what they say in the movies. You snap someone's leg bone or an arm bone, that's it. They're down. If they get back up, then you probably want to shoot them, because you know you've just annoyed them at that point. But yeah, but you know, I think most of the world's problems are down to a lack of certainty over basic needs and crappy education. You know, and that's worldwide in a lot of cases. And you look at the countries that have great education and all their people are pretty peaceful. Largely because they feel that they're contributing to society, whatever they do. And yeah, and it's not that bad even if you completely fuck it all up. Yeah, I have. I want to do some 3D printing videos next week. But it may well be with the same backdrop-ish, because I've got some upgrades for my 3D printer. And some of them need field testing, which I'll do on video. And yeah, there's a few. I eventually would like to get a Raspberry Pi running Octoprint to see how difficult that is, because pretty much if I can do it, it's doable. Although people that know me seem to think I can fix most laptops or electronics or make them better, and they won't believe it when I tell them that I just Google it, which is what I do. You can fix stuff. You don't need to be a master of the arcane arts to fix something via Google or figure it out. So yeah. There's nothing truly amazing about the stuff I know, to be honest. I just went and did it. I was vaguely interested. That's all you got to be. Just try it. Not if it's super dangerous. But a risk of your personal comfort is usually a good thing. That's probably should be on the cabinway of every boat afloat. This is not going to be the most comfortable thing ever. Yeah. There's even one that says that they plant trees if you do enough searches on it, like an ecology-based one, where the number of click-throughs and the adverts and stuff like that literally go to pay for trees to be planted, and they tell you how many trees they've planted and how many trees you've planted. Mars is up to about 240 trees, so if that's actually happening, that'd be interesting. So yeah, I've got a few upgrades to do, including a nozzle change to a wider nozzle to see if it prints significantly quicker. But yeah, I'd like some Octoprint. I'd like to get Octoprint working. That'd be handy. I think I've got a Raspberry Pi 3 sitting around somewhere, and I have got a 3D printer, so I can print a case for it, and I've got a camera somewhere that will go on the Raspberry Pi that works, or worked last time I tried it. So yeah, some interesting 3D prints. There is something that I'm going to print, and I will make a video about it, but there'll be in giant letters. You do not have to watch this one. There is a 3D printed model of the Aliens APC, complete with Colonial Marines. That's it. Ecosia. Like, it's literally got, you know, like Warhammer scale Colonial Marines and Warhammer scale APC that has Space 4 wiring in it and lighting, and the top comes off so you can see inside, with various weapon options and stuff. So yeah, I do fancy making that and painting it, so that might be on there just because. It's like something like that would cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And if I do it for the video, I'll send the guy some money who did the design, because it's intricate as shit. It's easily the best one. I don't want to make any other model. I'd rather print all the stuff for that out and assemble it. But yeah. That's pretty mint. Oh yeah, 3D print is interesting. I've got some radio video ideas now that I've got the studio where I want it. So yeah, we'll do some stuff about ham radio as well. From my perspective, there are lots more talented people about it, but I think that if the things that I want to do with amateur radio are doable by me, then they're doable by anybody. And obviously, it's me. It's Trash Panda. It's going to be low cost. One of those 500 mil by 5, the ones that, yeah, half a meter diameter. I don't know. You could print some pretty sick shit. I definitely want a few models, but I don't know what I would print. I mean, it'd be fun to design a complete laptop fascia, and you'd have the space to do that. Or a radio transmitter enclosure that had an output to a bigger screen. Yeah. Yeah, the temptation to print like the pulse rifle and shit like that, that'd be, yeah. I don't even know. I think Harlequin has got um, a big ass Creality, 500 by 500. So yeah, I'd definitely like to see some big shit printed with that. But then you're asking someone to leave a 3D printer on for like 3 days or some shit, because it does take a while. And resin printers also take about the same time as 3D printing. I think if I was into a war game, if I was really into Warhammer 40k, just actually playing it or painting the miniatures, if I was into that sort of thing, which I'm not, thankfully, because it's real expensive, then yeah, I'd want a resin printer. I can't think of anything I want a resin printer for right now, though. So yeah, feel free to come up with suggestions. Chipco's been in here chatting with us. He's got a resin printer. He's been tinkering with that. He does some wacky shit. I mean, I haven't got the image, I don't think. Oh, what am I doing? I'm over here. I wonder. So I just want to take a minute or two to talk about. No, I didn't want to do that. Having, literally no, I pressed the thing. Shouldn't have done that. Oh, how do I get out of the culture? Do 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 do. How do I get out of? Oh, oh no, I've got it. I've got it. Is it? They got it. I'm only going to put this in the chat for a and basically so it'll be gone. It'll be off the screen. Should be quick, but can I put an image in? Oh. No, I'm not going to do it. Where's that? No, but he built a model rocket that looked exactly like a missile. And that made me hoot. Like, it really looked like a missile. It even had United States Air Force on it. So you can imagine, yes, you fire off your harmless model rocket, and then some poor bugger finds all this USAF shit all over it. So yeah, that was the thing. But yeah, do wacky shit. But let's see what I come up with to print with a standard 25 centimeter by 25 centimeter printer. Let's just see. If you come up with anything cool, then yeah, let me know. But the next video on 3D printing is just going to be literally, this is how you go about doing a 3D print. And the one after that, which I might do on the same week, is the upgrades I've done to the printer so far. I've got one more upgrade for the printer to come. So I've got a magnetic base plate on the way. I've got a metal extruder motor fitting. I've got a little cover over the fan, a tool holder, and a tray. So I'll show all that sort of stuff off. Oh, and a micro SD card to SD card converter, because those micro SD cards are too sodding tiny to be fiddling about with. So yeah, let me just get onto that. Yeah. Am I using Ubuntu? No, this is Windows. Purely to use this. So if I upgrade the studio in general, then there may well be, you know, the T440p in a docking station running the Sonic Sunday one, in which case I'll be using that and a webcam. I'll just use the one machine. This is a 500 watt machine compared to like a 200 watt machine. They're doing basically the same job. So the monitors are hooked into the docking station and shit. The 3D printing test in Ubuntu. Yeah, you can use Ubuntu. I use Cura in Ubuntu on a 4 gig machine mostly. So they will run the slicer on it, and you could connect it up to the printer itself. But I generally put it on an SD card and jam it in the printer. Just easier. Means you can turn off the laptop. If you use an SD card instead of the direct link to the printer, it doesn't send the entire G code to the printer. So if the laptop goes off, or there's, you know, it will just lose its connection. The 3D printing test in Ubuntu. Yeah, I'll use Ubuntu to do it. It just runs Cura. I've always used Cura on a Linux machine. So yeah. Speaking of which, I won't do this to you anymore because this is the last video I've got. I'm going to play this video, and I'll remember to bring the mics up, hopefully.
Hello and welcome to Trash Panda, where we always like super cheap technology and tools to do fun and creative things. And in the interest of that, I've got this. Yeah. This is a recording phone grip and tripod that you wouldn't normally touch with a barge pole if you had any kind of high-tech kit. However, there's a lot of people that would be able to make use of this, sort of like just a little piece of kit if they wanted to film something and they weren't that into making YouTube videos, or they wanted some spares, and we're going to go into that. So originally this was £12, right? And I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to open it up and show you what you get. Box opening sounds. Right, so you get a grip that turns into a tripod. Let me get some more light on this. A grip that turns into a tripod. So there's the grip, and it's got like a little thumb button release thing here that will actually allow you to hold a thing. And you also get one of these, which is the grip, like an expandable grip for a smartphone. and you get a microphone, which, if I remove the pop shield, which it comes with a pop shield, reminds me quite a lot of the super cheap 20 quid Boya microphone. So you get that, and give me a minute. Let's pop some AA batteries into the last bit. You get a 36 LED light, which isn't bad. You know, it's got it can light things up. It can certainly drown out the light this distance, but you know, you could use it as a tabletop light or whatever. It's got 3 levels of brightness, takes 2 AA's. So yeah, that's that. And you get a little Bluetooth shutter control with actually got an off switch, which is handy. So you got that. Put that in there. Just move all this back a little bit. Oh, and the hand grip opens up into a tripod. And finally you get like a microphone cable. So you get quite a lot of good stuff. And I wouldn't normally point this out to you because at the original price it's kind of trashy, but if you needed the bits and you wanted to just get into shooting a few YouTube videos, then that would be okay. But this has been dropped in price twice. I bought one when it had been hard. It was originally £12 and I bought one when it dropped to £6, but they're currently at B&M's or other places, but B&M specifically, that's where the price comes in. They've chosen the price. They're £3, which would be okay just for the light. It's quite a nice light. It mounts onto a hot shoe of almost any camera, so just like for a little camera light, £3's amazing. But you also get the microphone, the trigger if you're using like a little Bluetooth remote, and all the stuff. You basically get the whole kit now for £3, which is awesome. So if you are thinking about getting some spares and you're wondering about the quality of the microphone, this video was shot on one of these microphones because this is the second set I've bought, which is awesome. So yeah, so we've got that, it's all doing it, and that's what I'm using. That's the lighting I'm using. It's the grip, it's the tripod. I'm using the camera of the iPhone and a free piece of software called Mavis, and yeah, the microphone is as you hear it, so it's not bad. It's comparable to the Boya, in fact, the microphone. So you get the microphone light and a little stand, and it means you can, for almost no money right now, just now, you can get it for £3. So yeah, that's why this video was kind of time sensitive. Now we'll move on to the second thing. The second thing is these sound reactive LED light bars, which are very nice. I've got a set downstairs on the stereo, and as the eagle-eyed among you can see, the price is at £15, and like the microphone and tripod and light set, that's gone down in price twice. So these things are now £4 a pair, which is super interesting. So at £4 a pair, then that's the sort of thing that you might want to add to your stereo or to your speakers. You know, or to your gaming setup or whatever, because they're like these nice little light towers. This is the thing I was going to build, so we'll just take them out of the box and show you what you get. So these are driven and controlled by a mobile app. Downside is that for some reason it wants your location while you're using the app, but if you set them up and you leave them alone, all you need to do is turn them on, and then you can turn off the location settings on your phone. So I don't know what that's all about. That's probably a made in China thing. So we got you get the 2 light bars, and you get 2 very short USB cables, which I'll have to use different ones, but I mean micro USB, they're not USB-C, obviously. These things cost me £4 for a pair. So I'm gonna just plug these in, and through the magic of editing, we'll connect them up to a power source and connect to them via my phone. So I've got a bit of a dearth of long USB cables, so I got these connected. So they should be. They'll reset, and now they're blue and green. And in the app you can change them to that. So this is easier. So you got red beating in response to my voice, and they're pretty handy. I mean, you connect up to them with your phone as long as they've got power, and there's a little microphone in the back, so any music, any sounds will actually be relayed on here. But it's kind of nice to watch music or play games with different sounds, and there's loads of modes for these. I'm not going to show you my phone, I'm just saying these are £4 at B&M's, and they're pretty handy, so I recommend. So I will keep an eye out for super cheap tech in the future, and we'll keep going with that. Sorry about the sudden shift of scene and the very unprofessional thing, but literally I haven't got long enough USB cables to have it nicely set up in the studio. But I don't have time because these things are running out fast. If you are near a B&M's or you do see something like this and it's on massive reduction, they're pretty cool. So thanks for watching these two sort of like tech tips. But yeah, I've bought myself 2 sets of these for the studio, and as you know, I've been using the cheap tripod and microphone system to sort out all the other stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. Do take care.
And there you have it. That's my 3 videos that I've done in this week. But yeah, so if you see those and they're super marked down in price, you don't actually need Bluetooth to actually run them. You can turn them off without a Bluetooth connection. Turn them on and off without a Bluetooth connection and cycle through modes and shit. But it would be a massively painful thing to do without the phone. Thanks, man. Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, the production values are super low, but isn't it interesting that it kind of proved a point? You know, literally a blanket, a desk, a thing, and like a £3 setup and a mobile phone, and that's it, you're done. You can even upload the YouTube video with your mobile phone. Don't even have to edit it. So yeah. But if you're using an Apple machine, the Mavis thing is very, very nice. It's very nice software. Gives you sound bars and histograms and all sorts of shit. It's a bit like Magic Lantern, but for the iPhone. So maybe I need to figure out a way of capturing the phone screen so I can show you that. But yeah. So yes, all with free software. So yeah. So if I ever do start making some serious money, if this really takes off, which is very unlikely because people like us that want to watch it are thin on the ground, but if it ever does, then we'll buy some weirder stuff. Yeah, so there's loads of, you know, once you've got a laptop, there's tons of stuff you wouldn't do. FOSS. I don't get what FOSS is or who FOSS is. But yeah, it's basically what watching patrolling taught me. If Sean Kennedy hadn't been doing it with Sumerian and all the other people that helped out and did stuff, then I wouldn't be doing it. Yeah, free and open source software. Just absolutely. You know, and you know, if I ever make a lot of money from this, I will send them money. Obviously, we're doing a thing. But yeah, I don't think they'll begrudge me my half a dozen listeners and people that want to make stuff and do things that we can put on here and share on a Tuesday night, because it's, why not? My mate Ryan isn't usually streaming. He is tonight. But fair enough. He makes his living at it. But I'm not going to try and always stream on a Tuesday. It might be a little bit late from time to time, but it'll be here. So yeah. It's welcome to the Weirdo Corner. That's fine. You know? No weirdos, humanity still living in trees. Not even living in caves. Living in trees, and what meat they get, they eat raw, and nuts and berries, and constantly having to work to stay alive, and getting eaten by just about everything. One weird hominid gets in the mix and decides that a long pointy stick is just what he needs to deal with a predator. And then a whole bunch of those people all the way down through human history, but they're always the weirdos, because they'd have been being asked, what are you doing with that long stick? Why are you sharpening it into a point? Why are you now what's that? It's fire. What do we need that for? Well, observe. So all the left field people have always been doing it. It's just that communications are better, and the people that come up with the ideas are not necessarily rewarded for those ideas. A whole superstructure of society has sprung up to separate the people that have the ideas from the recompense that it's due, because largely those people will be saying things along the lines of, I just wanted to make people's lives better. Could you make this thing for less money? You know? So we look at things differently. It's important. Yeah. So them's me vids. That's what I've been doing. Production values will go up. Obviously I'm not going to use that tripod for every filming thing, but it means I can take that to work. That can go in my work bag. It's so small it fits into like a very small sandwich box, including the phone. So, that's a possible thing. I've got a few other ideas and stuff. There's a few bits of camera equipment we can definitely build, and a few cameras that I can tell you about that are worth having or not worth having, really. But your phone is generally a pretty good camera. And that's why we don't get blurry pictures of Bigfoot or flying saucers anymore. Because nobody's got a fucking excuse with autofocus and 100 plus frames a second of video footage. But yeah. So yeah, there will be, hopefully more people will turn up, maybe another time, if I hadn't been so rushed today because I was doing video editing and stuff. But it will get better and become more of a thing. Nah, I mean, if YouTube had to pay, there'd be a barrier. If there would be a barrier to entry, if they were having to shell out money, I'm all right for it being free. Because I don't have to come up to any particular standard and I can talk about what I want. And it'd be unlikely if YouTube took it down. I mean, I am tempted to get a live Mixcloud thing to do some DJing and stuff. Maybe on a semi-regular basis. But I don't mind not being paid for that either. I understand why you've got to pay for that stuff. Even if you do local volunteer radio, they expect a sort of donation regularly. So yeah. But if you're doing this for free, then I don't mind not getting any money for it. Because it means that everybody, absolutely anybody, can make a YouTube video series. And maybe they can get people to watch it. Maybe some people will luck into it. Maybe word will spread through other means. Things like Discord. You can make it popular. There is a monetization point where, yes, there'd be a couple of commercials before you went live. So maybe there'd be a longer delay of about a minute or something like that to allow for them to show commercials and shit. But, I'd suffer through a few commercials if I knew that, say, Sean Kennedy was going to do patrolling again with the modern technology that we've got now. I genuinely don't know what Sumerian's doing, and I don't want to hassle him because I've never met the guy. But, that would be all right for live stuff. But the good thing about YouTube is it keeps all your live things forever, as far as I can tell. So that would be even better. You know, I'd switch off ad blocker if I genuinely knew that if everybody sat through some ads, we could watch Sean Kennedy. And I don't know what ads you put on his channel anyway. It'd probably be for computer games or some shit. I've never been that big into self-promotion, mainly. And it's only a very tiny core of people that would ever be into it. So, yeah. I mean, with great power comes great responsibility. If 2 people are watching you and you say something off colour because you've had a bad day, not such a biggie. If 10,000 people are following you and you have a bad day, you know, I've never, but I think because I did customer support where you've got to mind your P's and Q's, and then I did FM radio where you had rules. You couldn't just say whatever you wanted. And yeah, I think I could do it. But do you want it to be my full-time job? I think it would change if it was your full-time job. I think you'd have more time to do stuff. But again, there'd be more pressure. Everybody's been pretty good about me taking a long hiatus and not doing anything. The only constant thing I've done is probably Sonic Sunday, and you can go and check that out at Uncle Doris where it goes out. But it goes out to quite a few people now. So, I guess. But even on there, we're totally allowed to say whatever we want. Whereas I think YouTube would get a bit, I don't think I'd say anything truly mean. I don't mean any harm to any group of people, you know, any racial or gender-based or orientation-based or even religious-based people. Yeah, I definitely couldn't do it again. But yeah, I'm not even very good if I have to take people their food, you know. So I actually got a complaint for being a terrible waiter a couple of weeks back. It was hilarious. And I only found out about it about a day later. And one of the wait staff was saying, "Oh yeah, we got a complaint about you." And I went, "How?" He said, "Oh, I signalled to your other waiter many times and he didn't come over." And then they went, "No, that's the guy that washes the dishes." Not a waiter at all. It's just like bringing out food and seating people. But yeah. But yeah, customer support, no. Purely for the one thing, you spend an incredible amount of time coming up with other words for. Have you switched it off and on again? Wow. I don't think I could work at a casino. It'd just be the people watching must be addictive, though. I bet you see all kinds of people there at a casino. God no. No, I'm doing the only job in that restaurant I ever want to do. But outside of getting a like a late night chilled out DJ gig, that'd be pretty nice. But yeah, my job's pretty boring, but you know, I do get to sort of like think and listen to audiobooks and read if nothing's going on. So there is that. And I don't get bothered too much. Mostly because, unfortunately, I kind of did the groundwork for being a bit irascible when people wouldn't do simple stuff. So, on the negative side, I was very grumpy and I sometimes shouted at people. But on the positive side, everybody remembers that. There's always someone that remembers it, and it's like, no, do not annoy this person. So, occasionally I have to tell a few stories about what people were like and why I was grumpy about it. And please don't do the thing that makes me grumpy. But I think that's better than being grumpy at them. So, yeah. It's a dull ass job. Who knows? Who knows what other jobs are out there? What vague. I wonder if there is such a thing as a late night DJ where there's not really much of a bar to entry, and I just be like, no, here you go. Yeah, being a dishwasher, it depends on the people you're washing dishes for and with. Very much so. And basically, most days, I could probably do my entire shift's worth of work in about 3 hours. If you just piled it all up, if you could do that in a restaurant, just pile up the whole day's plates, the whole day's knives and forks and all that, all the kitchen stuff. If you could fit it into the room physically, I could probably do it in about 3 hours. I'm kind of hired for the last 2 hours of the shift, really. Which is when it just gets beyond gutty and you can't ask chefs to do it because eventually they just quit and work someone else where they do have someone that washes the dishes, which is why you're there. Yeah, well, that's why I've refused to learn how to cook. It's why I've refused to learn how to be any of the wait staff or mix any of the drinks or even be a team leader. I could go straight from my job to team leader, but that is such a thankless job because you're the person everybody bitches. You're like the XO. You're the person that just gets everybody's grief. Yeah, see, I was, and then I started listening to audiobooks at work, which is a massive perk. Yeah, I would imagine it did get really boring. So, yeah. So, see, it's like a pub. And I wouldn't feel, I mean, I am drinking a soft drink, but you know what? Next week, it might be a couple of whiskies. Why not? Wow, the Holiday Inn. Yeah. I mean, literally, if I got fired from my job tomorrow, if I tried reasonably hard and I made a few phone calls, I could probably get another job. Unfortunately, in hospitality, but as a dishwasher or even a KP, if it was the right restaurant with the right people and the right team. So yeah, that could all change. You never know. Could get fired. But yeah. But by April, I'll be a little bit more financially stable, so I'll be able to take a bit of a kick in. So yeah, but now I have a giant pile of toys, and I've been seeing things recently. I'm really sort of tempted to get an electronic drum kit because then I've got all the instruments for a band. Oh, kitchen porter. That's where you like do all the prep and chop vegetables and stuff, and occasionally flip a burger. It's like a trainee chef, but not really, in that you don't get a proper chefing qualification or anything. You can now just cook all the stuff that the very limited restaurant cooks. It's not like being a proper chef. But yeah. If it was a good enough place, I'd consider cooking. But it'd have to be brilliant and a bit more money than I'm on now. If I was going to do that. And much fewer hours. View ships. Yeah, it's not doing anything. Let's not worry about it. It's not important. You know, if no one turns up, it's still going to be here. It just won't be the premiere, if by the time somebody finds it, of the videos that are on it. I mean, I won't ever do more than 3. It'll just be like, we'll rack some up spare. But I'll try and premiere them on here. Yeah, I've just looked at it for the first time in the whole stream. It doesn't matter. Nobody shows up. One person shows up, we can have a conversation. And then take it to Discord if they want to. It's an open club, the culture. But yeah, this is, what would it be like? It would be totally Star Trek. If you had a whole culture of people that took shit apart and made stuff and had interesting views on the world and, listened to and watched interesting stuff and shared it, hence Tubi, that's a good resource. It's got loads of documentaries. I mean, they have got a faith movie section, but they've got to cater to everybody. So, unless there is something that's really worth watching. The sequel to The Man from Earth, which is an amazing film, is on there. I don't know if it's on there. I'm not going to do it now. But yeah, you probably find The Man from Earth is on there, which is amazing. That's an amazing science fiction movie because there's not a single special effect in the whole sodding movie. There's a few clever camera angles and cuts and it's edited nicely, but there isn't a single CGI element in the whole thing. It is a conversation that 7 or 8 people have, and it's one of the best science fiction movies ever. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. And things like Network and stuff. I want to do some film reviews. It's like, yeah, if you haven't seen it, imagine seeing The Warriors for the first time and nobody had told you about it, or Network, or anything. There's going to be people that have never seen The Matrix. So, not just for right now or this week or this year. While YouTube goes on, somebody has a chance of stumbling on it. Some people have found the stuff I did for Rangers, just found it and found it useful because I put some pretty specific stuff on the tags. So yeah. And if anybody wants to help, or anybody wants to make some video, or anybody wants to be on the show, then you can be. You'll just be on the show with me. So I can only be me, and the only way you can stay sane when you're having conversations with your peers is to be as honest as you possibly can at all times. And wouldn't that be nice? So yeah, feel free to be honest. Feel free to have a conversation about a thing. Maybe, but the only rule with kind of like a debate or a conversation about something is we both have to go into it with compromise in mind, possibly. Don't have to pick a bit that you sort of agree with. If you don't agree with any of a conversation, then that's fine. But you have to be prepared to go, I didn't think about it like that, or I didn't have that kind of perspective. Your perspective has changed my perspective, but I'm still sticking to this, and this. Fine. But that's the only way 2 people can have a proper conversation, and this is where it's at. If we find something cool, we share it. If we think of something cool, then we share it. And if we have questions or whatever, if it can be answered, there might be someone out there that'll answer it. So yeah, might be one of us. That'd be handy as fuck. There are a few people that are pretty good at coding already that may watch this. You never know. Digital Whiskey is, everybody's got their special skill set, really, that's ever been on or part of the Rangers or Urban Agogi or the culture or anything like that. They've all got, none of them are without skills. Like, I feel like an imposter because people know so much more about certain subjects than I do. Yeah. We'll discuss it. I mean, let's avoid things where we discuss things that might be harmful to someone watching it. Or let's at least be very general about it. But if you are watching this at a later date and the culture is still running, turn up. If you're concerned about something, turn up. It's the internet. It's not like we're going to, you could become offensive, and I've got the ability to ban people from the chat, but I don't want to. Not like you can ban people from the comments if they're watching at a later date. That's not really a great deal of power, but people are going to hold different opinions, and they might have bloody good reasons for holding those opinions. How do you know? You haven't lived their life. But, think we'd have to be careful around outright homophobia, racism, or outright fascism and stuff. Yeah. Because you're capable of learning new stuff. So you automatically have. Some people get to a point in their lives where they don't have to learn anything else. And anything that tries to educate them is roundly dismissed. So yeah. If you're the sort of person that's going to rock on up, in all likelihood, we'd be glad to have you. Because none of the people here are going to react to you with any kind of fear, hopefully. So, think about it. It's the internet. You don't have to let it all hang out, but you can ask questions and have conversations about shit. Mostly filtered around people's problem-solving skills more than anything else. I mean, pretty much everybody I've met through doing this, nobody's been without skills. No one. People haven't known stuff. That's a whole lot different to not being able to learn how to do it. There's no shame in not knowing a thing. There's tons of shit I know fuck all about. I'm really bad with radio, even though I've got a license. So, it's going to be from that perspective. It's like, I'm just going to have a quick brush up on all the rules and shit. But essentially, here we go. But they can't stop you learning about a thing just because you don't have a license. I've got, the Patreon money bought me a whole bunch of stuff that I've not even used or tried out yet. So yeah, there's a lot of videos to come on like, right, let's have a dig around with this. Yeah, people do genuinely get to a point in their lives where they go, oh, I'm not going to learn anything new. Really? Because new stuff will come at you all the time. But that's not a problem because you have the internet. If you're watching this, you've got the internet. So, yeah. So, what are we at? Oh, an hour 36. So, yeah, I think that wraps it up. I'm going to be in the Discord. I'll go into the audio bit for a bit. So if anybody wants to come for a chat in the actual Culture Discord, I don't know. Can I? If you like the way all this conversation was going, or you like the videos or anything, you can come along to the Culture Discord. So I'm just going to go to the post stream. Boink. There we go. And I'll just see if I can put... Here's the culture. Invite people. Copy that. Go back to the chat. So that's currently where an invite to the Discord. It expires in 7 days and it will change. But, if you found this video, check it out. And we'll be in the Discord server chat. So this is me signing off. Thanks very much for watching if you're watching in the future. And thanks very much to the Alternative and Unsuccessful Hermit for hanging out and putting up with me rambling so much. Yeah. Night night.